Hello, my name is Becca, welcome back to my channel, and today I am bringing you my first ever book review. Now, as you can guess with me saying it's my first ever book review, I literally have no idea what I'm doing, and we're just going to see how it goes. So the book I'm going to be reviewing is Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. This was my second most anticipated release of 2017. I reread the rest of the series just before I started reading this, which I'm glad that I did, and I'm kind of excited to talk about it. So first of all, which is I believe customary with book reviews, I will talk about non-spoilery things regarding King's Cage, and then I will move on to a spoilery discussion. Feel free to join in the comments with your thoughts on any of the spoilers that we will be discussing. So first up, what is King's Cage? King's Cage is the third book in the Red Queen saga. I think there'll be 4 books by Victoria Aveyard. The first book is Red Queen and the second is Glass Sword. If you haven't read the series at all, Red Queen is about a girl in a world where there are 2 types of humans. I'm going to say humans. There's 2 types of people. One type has red blood and one type has silver blood. Silver bloods are born with really strong abilities, and the red bloods are your normal human type people. And the red bloods are oppressed, they sort of live in slavery. The best that they can be in the world is a shop owner that sells things to silvers. They can't rise any higher than that. They can't be politicians or anything really interesting. And when they turn 18, unless they have a job, they are conscripted into the army to fight a pointless war against another country that is also ruled by silvers with red slaves. I personally love this entire series. The first and third books are my favourites. The second was not as good for me because it's a very different type of book and it's very different sort of themes and feelings from the second. But King's Cage, oh my god, like if you liked Red Queen and you liked Glass Sword but not as much, you will still love King's Cage. King's Cage has got a mix of the themes from the first book and the second book, and they're mashed together and you have a bit of both, and it's just so good, and the themes are still there, and honestly it was amazing. There was a couple of low points in it which I'll talk about. I had a few problems with the characters, especially Mare, which I'll also talk about, but overall I love this book. I rated it 5 stars on Goodreads and 10 out of 10 would recommend. So if you haven't read Red Queen, then please leave and stop watching this video now while I talk about Glass Sword. So Glass Sword, the second book in the Red Queen series, it starts straight after Mare escapes from the Bowl of Bones and follows the Scarlet Guard along with Mare and the now exiled Cal. The Scarlet Guard are trying to bring equality to Reds into the world, and Mare and Cal, while Mare is also obviously promoting equality for Reds in the world, her and Cal are also on a personal vendetta to get back at Maven. In the last book we discovered that there was a list of new bloods who were also like Mare, who had special abilities. Mare is looking for those people to recruit them and train them and find out what they can do to help join the army in the war against the Silvers. And finally, if you haven't read King's Cage, then please leave this video now, as I'm going to be discussing what King's Cage is about and also all of the spoilers and what I thought about everything in the book. So right at the beginning of King's Cage, we are exactly where Glass Sword ended. Mare is entering the palace after she's just knelt in front of Maven on the steps, and we begin to see what it's like for her to be his captive. We have 3 viewpoints in the book. We have Mare, we have Cameron, and we have Evangeline, surprisingly enough. And King's Cage is essentially about Mare escaping captivity with Maven, and on the Scarlet Guard side they're also trying to get Mare back, but they're also furthering communications with distant countries to try and get support for the Scarlet Guard in Norta, planning strategic war moves, taking over places and all that fun stuff. Now I'm going to get into the spoilers, so if you haven't read King's Cage, then please stop watching now while we talk about what actually happened in the book. First of all, Mary's in captivity for more than half of the book, which I thought she was going to escape much sooner. I thought she'd be there for maybe less than a quarter of the book, and then Cal would come and swoop in and save her, but no, she was there for more than half. So let's talk about the characters, starting with Mare, as she is the main character. So I don't really like Mare. To me, she's very self-centered. She thinks that the world revolves around her, and she's also very naive. Now, we have to bear in mind that the theme of betrayal has run through this entire series of books. The phrase, anyone can betray anyone, just keeps popping up absolutely everywhere, and yet Mare just still can't grasp this. I also think that she has a problem of thinking that people have betrayed her when they haven't. When she's in captivity with Maven, she's very much quietly planning. She keeps sort of fighting with herself about whether she should give Maven another chance, which she absolutely should not. I don't care. Like, Maven is broken. Maven can't be fixed. And even if he could, until he is fixed, she shouldn't have this fixation with him, especially when he's like the big bad guy. He tried to kill her. He tried to kill his own brother. He helped his mother kill his own father. Everybody around him is turning against him. He doesn't care about anybody but himself and Mare. He's not a good guy. He doesn't even care about the well-being of the country. I don't know why he wanted to be king in the first place, or why he, when his mother died, continued to be king, because he doesn't care about being king. Like, I have no idea what he actually wants. Regarding the end of the book and the betrayal, where we say betrayal, I don't see it as a betrayal at all, where Cal agrees to go back to being king, it's not a betrayal. He believes that he can do some good. I feel like the Silvers have oppressed the Reds for so long, and instead of fighting for equality like they should be, the Reds are in turn trying to oppress the Silvers, which is going to get them absolutely nowhere. Like, we've seen in real life how fighting oppression with oppression just does not work. It just makes things worse. So I can't see why this is happening. Right at the end of the book, Mary's complaining that Cal has betrayed her because he wants to go back on the throne to make the world a better place. Now, obviously, the people who are going to be advising him won't want that, but he himself said that he does, and he would be the king, so I imagine he would have some say in what happened. All the while, Mary's sulking in an alley and finds it completely fine that the organisations that she is working with are going to try and get Cal killed because they don't support a Silver King. This is somebody that she supposedly cares about, and she's just gone on whining and moaning and throwing a fit because he won't choose her over his birthright, but she thinks that it's okay for the people that she's working with to just like try and kill him. Where is the logic in that? It doesn't make any sense at all. And obviously the theme of betrayal runs through this entire series, and we see that as a betrayal, but Mary's just, she's so untrusting of people that she can trust, and she takes untrusting to like a new level. Like, you can be untrusting without being just like so closed off and rude to people, but she doesn't seem to grasp that. As for the character of Maven, I have wrote Maven off. Like, I don't see how this series can conclude and there'll be a happy ending for Maven. Too much has happened. I think he's got to die, because I can't see any other redemption for him. Not that death would be redemption. I'm glad that we got to see an insight into his brain, sort of, if he's telling the truth, because who knows. But essentially that Alara has carved out lots of bits of his mind. Like, he used to be scared of the dark before she took it away. She took away his love for his brother and his father, which was harsh. I'm glad that Alara is dead. But otherwise, I didn't see anything that I didn't expect from Maven. The only useful and entertaining information I got from the whole period she was in captivity with him was that Alara had fiddled with his mind, and that was partially why he was the way that he is. I also feel like if he has an awareness of why he is like he is, then he should be able to know that that is wrong and come to some sort of conclusion to salvage his morality. Cal, I absolutely love Cal. He broods a lot in this book, but what else is new? I thought that the relationship between him and Mare was a little bit ridiculous when she was released, well, when she escaped from captivity / was rescued, and she went straight back to him, and before she went, they weren't really in a relationship. They were sort of, I don't know how to describe it, but then they come back and it's like they're long lost lovers that have been together forever. And I can just remember the last time they were together, Mare was, well, she didn't really like him very much. Or she liked him, but she didn't like to entertain the idea of a real relationship between them. So I find that to be very unbelievable. And I feel bad for Cal because he's one of my favourite characters. Mare reminds me a lot of Katniss in the way that she's sort of using Cal to sort of like take some of the pressure off and to make her feel less bad about everything that's going on. Which is the reason why Katniss is my least favourite character in the world. So I hope that the reason that she's with Cal is because she wants to be, and not because he's there and she needs somebody, which was, I kind of felt was the case with Katniss, and I'm getting the same vibes from Mare. I liked that we got an insight into Evangeline's mind, especially as it progressed through was it 2 or 3 chapters that we followed her through? I liked how she progressed from wanting a crown and some royal status, as she always had, to wanting to be free. I find it interesting that Evangeline is an LGBTQ character. I didn't expect that at all. And I foresee Evangeline in the future joining forces with the Scarlet Guard in order to get back at her family, which she should really, because she doesn't have a very nice family, but then she isn't a very nice character really. So I'm excited to see where we go with Evangeline, because I can see her turning sides pretty soon, and with the theme of betrayal running through the entire series, that would fit perfectly. I liked that the 3rd book was a mix of the first 2. That's what it felt like to me. We had the intrigue and the politics from the 1st book mixed with the strategic war and planning and rebellion of the 2nd book. The 2nd book wasn't too interesting to me because it seemed to be all focused on just finding New Bloods and the Scarlet Guard, which I'm warming to the Scarlet Guard, but I don't really like them too much. I find them quite dull. Like I said before, I don't believe that the sort of point that they're working towards is the right way to go, so I can't really get behind them. I liked that King's Cage started off with Mare and Maven in the palace, so it was sort of almost returning to the beginning where she was hiding who she was and putting on a false front in order to not be killed. And there was a lot of scheming and sort of eavesdropping on court politics and finding out what the high houses were doing. And I thought the rebellion with the Irals, Havens and Larolans was great. I'm glad that people are standing up against Maven. I want to know what John, the new blood who can see into the future, I want to know what his motive is. Like, why did he join Maven in the first place? Why did he run away? He's obviously going to turn up in the next book, but why? Like, he must have some sort of purpose in this series, otherwise why would he exist? I'm sure Victoria Aveyard could have wrote the 2nd book without him telling them what to do. I'm overall just very excited to see how this series concludes. I like the twists and turns. I like the themes of betrayal. I like that when you think something's going one way, it can just shoot off and go the other way. I don't find it too predictable, which I like, because I find a lot of books I can pretty much just know what's happening. So overall, I'm just excited to really see where this is going to end. Like, I don't even think I have any real predictions about where it's going to end. I do think that Maven will probably die, and I think that she will choose Cal for whatever reasons, hopefully the right ones. But aside from that, I literally have no idea, but I am really, really excited to see what's going to happen, because this series just keeps me on the edge of my seat constantly. So that's everything for this review. I'm sure that it was all over the place, and I don't take notes when I'm reading. When I read this book and started out, I didn't think I was going to do a review, and I didn't think I was going to do one for a very long time. But then I decided to, because I enjoyed the book so much, but I was completely unprepared. I had no notes or anything. So I've just kind of gone off memory, and it's been a few days since I've finished it now. So there's probably a lot that I've missed out that I enjoyed about this book, but I'm excited that I've actually managed to film a review. If you have anything to say on any of the points that I've brought up in this video, then please leave a comment down below. And aside from that, I'll see you next time. Bye!